been thinking a lot lately about Ram Dass. Do you know Ram Dass? He's a writer. He died not too long ago. Ram Dass was a very, very wise man. He had started out as a doctor of psychology, Harvard or Yale, and met up with Timothy Leary. This was back in the late 50s, early 60s. Took a lot of psychedelics and went to India and changed the face of American spirituality. Because Ram Dass has been so much on my mind, I've started rereading Be Here Now, and it's just as delightful as ever. It has been, since I was 17 years old, one of the biggest inspirations in my life. I found his book called Be Here Now in a secondhand bookshop when I was 17. I was a recent transplant from a small town to Dallas. And I was very unhappy. I already started that thing of I wasn't happy where I was in the small town. I thought if I got to Dallas I would be happy, and I wasn't happy there, and it was very upsetting to find out happiness wasn't a place that I could just move to. Haha, it's easy crazy, it's cold over here. We'll read together. Okay, talk about it. We'll have a little informal book club, if you will. We will focus on being here now together, because that's the book is about. But it's difficult to really be here, fully now, in the moment. We'll try to do that together. I promised you I was going to read a page of this a day. So today's first day, we're going to read even my first copy. This is like many copies down the line. It's all taped together. This is what it looks like. Page 1 of the core book of Be Here Now by Baba Ram Dass. Except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter the kingdom of heaven. Unless you start again, become that trusting, open, surrendered being, the energy can't come in. That is the kingdom of heaven. The energy. It is the same as the cosmic Everything is energy, right? That's what I talk about all the time. What Ram Dass is getting at here is that you have to, it's not just Christianity, it's spiritual law. You have to become humbled and unknowing. You have to get what in Zen Buddhism they call beginner's mind. You have to be coming from that place of surrender, of, I don't know, Jesus take the wheel, they say. I know, I say spirit guides take the wheel, but it's the same kind of thing. It's that knowing, it's the surrender that your guides, Jesus, God, whatever, can't get in to help you unless you say, I need help. And a lot of times we need to do that in our lives. All right, so that's page 1. I'll see you soon for page 2. Bye. Hello, it's time for another page in Be Here Now, read to you by me, the Mystic Autistic. This is page 2. Remember when I was 17 seeing this and I thought, what am I getting into? What is this? So we have a big picture of a snake. It's a snake with a hood. The text says consciousness equals energy, equals love, equals awareness, equals light, equals wisdom, equals beauty, equals truth, equals purity. It's all the same. It's all the same. Any trip you want to take leads you to the same place. I'm not a fan of organized religion. I've seen it destroy too many lives. However, I am a deep believer in spirituality, and I believe that at any religious path there is the mysticism that is at its core, the spiritual truth. When you embrace that, you realize that it's all the same. So embracing the mysticism and spirituality in your life, whether it's within or outside the scope of religion, really following it, that's following the energy. Everything is energy, and we are trying to be here now and get into the flow of the energy of our lives. All the same, it's all the same. Any trip you want to take leads you to the same place. Love you. Hello, it's time for page 3 of Be Here Now with me, the Mystic Autistic. Purify enough. Become, immerse, beauty, become it. The potter becomes his pot. Embrace the 10,000 beautiful visions. Become one with the universe. All the energy passes through you. You are all the energy. And it all resides in your heart. If you can go within to your spiritual heart, your hratayam, you will then know that you are he. And it is from this place in our heart cave where we are now. We watch the entire drama that is our lives. We watch the illusion with unbearable compassion. You know how sometimes you're in that quiet space in your head and you can watch yourself being dramatic or saying things and you can't seem to stop yourself, and yet you're thinking, look at that, I'm just going off over nothing. Isn't that something? That's what this is talking about, being in that place, that hratayam, the heart cave, spiritual heart. And I'll be saying that right. I listened to the pronunciation guide on Google, that's all I can say. All right. So from my hratayam to yours, I love you. This is page 3. Hello, it's the Mystic Autistic here, and I'm reading Be Here Now, the core book, page by page. Here's page 4. There is writing happening. Maybe that's hard for you to understand. I am here, but I am not here. I am writing, but I am not writing. Inside of me in the heart cave is a mantra going that reminds me who I really am, over and over again. In this inner place, I am, and even as I write where this mantra is going on, I'm just watching with great awe and wonder. The awesome drama of nature unfolds before my very eye. Before that I which sees all and knows all, and on, inside goes Mani Padme Om, always bringing me right to my heart, where I dwell eternally. It's that wonderful still place. It's very hard to find sometimes, but if we practice every day, we can come to it more easily, and it can make everything in life better. I love you. See you soon for page 5. Be Here Now, page 5. When you have quieted your mind enough and transcended your ego enough, you can hear how it really is. So, when you are with the candle flame, you are the candle flame. And when you are with another being's mind, you are the other being's mind. When there is a task to do, you are the task. The mindless quality of total involvement that comes only when the ego is quiet and there is no attachment. It is only when you reside quietly in your own hradiyam that you become he of total light, unbearable compassion, and infinite power, living in the flow. That mindless quality of total involvement that comes only when the ego is quiet and there is no attachment. That's living in the flow. That's what I try to do. The longer I practice it, the easier it gets. There's nothing outside of us, outside of me, outside of you. Whatever is upsetting you, you think it's something that's outside of you, but it corresponds to an energy that's within you. And when you get to that place of self-love and quiet in yourself, it's kind of hard to get to, but it is very well worth the effort. Even if you think you won't like what you find inside, it's worth the effort. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye. Be Here Now, page 6. See, if you get far enough in, you can see karma. You can see patterns unfolding, of which this life is only part of a mosaic. But in order to do that, you have to have left the gravitational field of time and space as a matrix. You can't think in time and space. You can't be in your thoughts anymore, because your thoughts are still in time and space, and you can't get out of time through them. You've got to be outside that. You've got to be in the place where you see your own birth, childhood, adolescence, maturity, age, death, conception, birth, childhood. And not only that one, but that one, and that one, and that one too. Hello and welcome to the read-along of Be Here Now by Baba Ram Dass, read by me, Leah, the Mystic Autistic. I hope along. If not, it's certainly not too late to catch up. We're only on page 7. My goodness, we're just starting out. We're going to read the whole core book together. Page 7 of Be Here Now by Ram Dass. The butterfly. I am without form, without limit, beyond space, beyond time. I am in everything. Everything is me. I am the bliss of the universe. Everything am I. It's a beautiful mantra. It's very, very hard to remember. It's what my therapist tells me all the time. Anytime I'm upset about anyone and I say, what do I do about them? He says, they're inside you. What do you do about you? It can be very annoying, but it's also very true. I love you. Page 8 of Be Here Now. This is the page I remember thinking, oh, damn. I was 17. I was thinking, this is deep. Page 8 of Be Here Now by Baba Ram Dass. But you're still only seeing hints. You've got a way to go yet. Gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisvaha. Gone, gone, gone beyond, beyond. Hail the goer. Beyond even conceiving of a place beyond which you can go beyond. Who's adventurous enough to want to go on that journey? Do you realize when you go on that journey, in order to get to the destination, you can never get to the destination. In the process, you must die. You must die. Pretty fierce journey. Pretty fierce requirement. We want volunteers. I remember thinking, I think I volunteer. When you say it, I've done drugs and psychedelics and things where I've been in a place where I thought, I have never been in this space before. And I won't lie, I learned things. I took things back from that place. But that's all within me. Within me and without me. Within you, without you, as the Beatles would say. That's what this is about. Getting to that spiritual place where all of this human stuff, in it, you're still participating, but it's not pressing all concerning thing that it was when you were just dwelling in the material and not trying to go beyond. Page 8 of Be Here Now by Ram Dass. I love you. Mystic Autistic with page 9 of Be Here Now by Baba Ram Dass. Now, we'll make the journey as comfortable as possible, but you have to realize that after you pass through the Van Allen belt, you're going to get out to another belt of radiation, which is going to crisp you completely and you will die. But there will be an essence left that will get through. Now, who would like to volunteer? Ready? Well, couldn't we make a specially insulated suit? No, sorry, can't do it. But if you propel hard enough, there will be going through there. There will be something that will get through to the other side. We can't really define what you'll be, but you'll be beyond that. Why would anyone want to go on a trip like that? Adventure? Well, the one thing about an adventure is the adventurer wants to stay around and adventure. And if he's going to be crisped in the process, there's going to be no adventurer left to have had the adventure. That's the problem, right? You want to get to the other side, but then you're going to be dead. So how are you going to enjoy it? Well, maybe you are an illusion, and there's a little part of yourself that is real and that is gonna go on. Love you. Bye. Okay, it's another page of Be Here Now by Ram Dass, being read by me, Leah, the Mystic Autistic. We're on page 10 now, and it's getting really juicy. So you've missed 9 pages, but that's all right. You can go back and catch up in like basically 10 minutes. So considering why someone would want to start down this journey that you know you're going to get fried to a crisp during. Okay. But you see, there's something that pulls a person toward this journey way back deep inside is a memory. There is something inside each of us that comes from behind that veil, behind the place of our own birth. It's as if you've tasted of something somewhere in your past that's been so high, so much light, so much energy, that nothing you can experience through any of your senses or your thoughts can be enough. Somewhere inside, everybody knows that there is a place which is totally fulfilling, not a desperate flick of fulfillment. It is a state of fulfillment. You may experience despair that you'll never know that. Good, because through that despair comes surrender. And through that surrender, you'll get close to it. Be Here Now by Baba Ram Dass, read by me, the Mystic Autistic, page 11. And what keeps you from that place that gives you that total feeling, experience, and knowing of fulfillment is all of this posturing. All of your thoughts, all your way of organizing your world, all of your plans, all of your games, you're exploring. Some of us do go on this journey. We didn't stand up and say, we volunteer. It didn't work that way at all. It's not like you had a choice of volunteering or not volunteering. That isn't the way it works. It's as if you're propelled into it, like the moth into the flame, but yet nobody's pushing you. Nobody's standing around saying, get in, take every third man. He goes. It doesn't work that way either. See what's getting in your way of your enlightenment? You. It's a little more like the image of a caterpillar enclosing itself in a cocoon in order to go through a metamorphosis, to emerge as a butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't say, well, now I'm going to climb into this cocoon and come out a butterfly. It's just an inevitable process. It's inevitable. It's just happening. It's got to happen that way. No accidents. If you could stand back far enough and watch the whole process, you would see you are a totally determined being. The very moment you will wake up is totally determined. How long you will sleep is totally determined. What you will hear of what I say is totally determined. There are no accidents in this business at all. Accidents are just from where you're looking. To the ego, it looks like miracles and accidents. No miracles, no accidents. It's just your vantage point that you're sort of stuck in. We're talking about a metamorphosis. We're talking about going from a caterpillar to butterfly. We're talking about how to become a butterfly. I mean, the caterpillar isn't walking around saying, man, I'll soon be a butterfly, because as long as he's busy being a caterpillar, he can't be a butterfly. It's only when caterpillarness is done that one starts to be a butterfly. And that trip is part of this paradox. You cannot rip away caterpillarness. The whole trip occurs in an unfolding process under which you have no control. Well, what am I doing here if I have no control? That's a hard one. Can't I say this is nonsense? You mean I don't have any choice? Can't I say this is important? Your lecture changed my whole life. You think that's choice? No, not at all. It's an unfolding process. It's an unfolding process. The whole trip I'm talking about is fraught with paradox. The most exquisite paradox. As soon as you give it all up, you can have it all. How about that one? As long as you want power, you can't have it. The minute you don't want power, You'll have more than you ever dreamed possible. What a weird thing. As long as you have an ego, you're on a limited trip. You're on a trivial trip that's going to last maybe 60, say 70, maybe 80 years, and full with fear of its end, trying to make its own eternity. Well, if I'm not speaking, if I am not what I thought I was, how did I get into this? Who am I? For only when I know who I am will I know what is possible. Understanding the possibility. There are 3 ways in which one knows what we are talking about tonight. One way in which you know about it is through direct experience. Through some way or another, through being alone in the desert, through falling in love, through bearing a child, through nearly dying, through turning on, through yoga, through taking any one of your senses and pushing it beyond itself. Going through it, you have touched a place inside yourself that has an intuitive validity. It's intuitively valid. Inside, you know it's right. I've been with literally now well over 100 people who have had such an experience, which is powerful and valid, but it was so discontinuous with their normal consciousness that they screamed for help. The help that was available to them was a group of minds which said, that's all right, you've just gone crazy. That is, the experience you've just had is the experience of psychosis. William James said, our normal waking consciousness is but one special type of consciousness, whilst all about it, parted from it by the filmiest of screens, there lie potential forms of consciousness entirely different. We may go through life without suspecting their existence, but apply the requisite stimulus and out of touch, they are there in all their completeness. Definite types of mentality which probably somewhere have their field of application and adaptation. No account of the universe in its totality can be final, which leaves these other forms of consciousness quite disregarded. How to regard them is the question, for they're so discontinuous with ordinary consciousness. They may determine attitudes, though they cannot furnish formulas, and open a region, though they failed to give a map. At any rate, concludes James, they forbid our premature closing of accounts with reality. In spite of what he said, we've closed our accounts with reality. Most of us. That experience you had is psychotic. I'll give you Thorazine. It's not valid. You're hallucinating. What do you mean you're God? The understanding of the possibility may have come to you directly through the experience itself, or it may have come to you through inference, through your intellect. You may have reasoned and reasoned until you saw the peculiar position that rational man is in, and you realized that there must be something else. Although you have not experienced it, you just infer the presence of something else. It doesn't quite make sense. Nothing turns you on. You haven't experienced it directly, but you figured there must be something else, something there. And then you read all the writings of St. John of the Cross, Teresa Avila, and on, all the mystics and visionaries in recorded history. And you say, well, they can't all be nuts. They must be talking about something. So you sort of infer the presence of this other thing, but you don't know it in your guts. Now that's a tough thing to be in that position. Then the third way is you trust the fact that there are realized beings, and they said it, and therefore you know it to be true. It's not inference anymore. It's not an intellectual process. We just accept what they have said. That's faith. See, we've gotten so super sophisticated in our evaluative mechanisms that you question everything you hear. How do you know you're not being hustled? I mean, what was that Jesus up to? What's the game, man? What's he into? You especially feel paranoid if you are one of the keepers of the tables in the temple. If you are committed to an existing system with great attachment. Great attachment. Some way or another, most of you in this room Most of you, not all of you, most of you have sensed the possibility, but you can't quite surrender. What are you giving up? A hollow little trip that's good for another 40 years at best? You're giving it up for eternal union, pure energy and pure life. Because surrender means you no longer die. It's as simple as that. That's what it means. Because you that lives and dies is you, ego. And fear of death only comes through the brittleness of the ego. Total surrender, total surrender. There's no more you, no more life and death. Yeah, I'm going to die. Wow, dig that. I'm going to live. Wow, dig that. Garbage. Wow. New blossoms on the tree. Wow. Patterns of energy. All patterns of energy. You're part of it all. That's the place. So my father says to me, going back to India, and I'm going back when the guru says I am to come back in 2 years. So my father says, do you do everything he says? Don't you have a mind of your own? We're giving you this exquisite position in this company, and we want you to know you'll have a great deal of independent decision-making power. What do you want to do today, Marty? I don't care. What do you want to do? I remember a few days staying in London. We had fled from Copenhagen, where we had had a very unfortunate scene at a psychological convention. We were in London, and Timothy Leary and Bill Burroughs and I were walking down the street high on something or other, and we were spending days going from park to tea room to park to tea room, and every now and then we'd hit a corner and somebody would say, well, we should cross the street. And we'd stand there and nobody would seem to care because we were all fulfilled at that moment. Right there on that street corner in London. We were all just very, very high. You don't have to have that urge, that desire, that unfulfilled just let it thing. Be. Just be. Be more. What's holding you back? Your thoughts, huh? You've just got to give them up. Just ego planning. What are you doing? What are you doing? Planning for the future? Well, it's all right now. Forget it, baby. That's later. Now is now. Are you going to be here or not? It's as simple as that. But I'm so young. I have so many things to do yet. That'll sure keep you from being here and now. Life is passing me by. But I just live in the here and now. Won't there be chaos? What happens if the telephone rings? Well, the here and now is the fact that the telephone is ringing. Pick it up. Well, what if somebody wants to make an appointment to see me 3 weeks from now? Right. Write it down. That's here and now. Well, that happens 3 weeks from now. 3 weeks from now, there's that appointment. Then, that is here and now. When your child comes down the stairs, this is the first moment, all over again. This is Buddha, meeting Buddha. Over toast and coffee, over milk and porridge, over moti and brown rice. We never had this breakfast before. This is it. This is all there is right now. If it's not good enough, man, it's not good enough. Now, about 5 years ago, I'm living in this community in California with a very, very beautiful high being, Steve Durkee, a visionary artist, a beautiful guy, his wife and child. I'd have a day off. It would be Saturday, and we'd go to the store. The dog, the babies, we'd all get into the Volkswagen microbus. There'd be Jane, the gal I was living with, and her baby, and me, and Steve, and Barbara, and the whole going shopping. We'd get to the door, and Dakota, Kobe, Steve's daughter, would start to cry. Well, now, we got to get to the store. I have Saturday mornings free, and Saturdays we shop. All right, Kobe? Cool it. Kobe doesn't cool it. She cries. Well, maybe we'll go to the store with Kobe crying. Or, no, Kobe doesn't like that. She cries louder. Or maybe Barbara had better stay home with Kobe. Let's go. Come on. Are we going or aren't we? What's wrong, Kobe? She's just being a kid. Steve says, what's the use of going to the store? It's like, what price efficiency? What happened to the vibrations? What happened to the human beings in that shuffle? So we'd do this absurd thing. We'd all stop and gather. We'd all sit down and join hands around this little kid. We'd cool ourselves out. Kobe would stop crying. Then we'd go to the store. And Steve taught me that if you get so efficient, if you've got to turn off all the vibrations of the scene because you're so busy about the future or the past, or time has caught you, it costs too much. 1, 2, me. And you finally understand the message you communicate with another human being has nothing to do with what you say. It has nothing to do with the look on the musculature of your face. Deeper than that. Much deeper. It's the vibrations that emanate from you. This is one of my favorite pages. I'm very excited that we're here to this page. Page 27 of Be Here Now. If your vibrations are paranoid, that's what's being received. And when you're around pets, birds or cats particularly, or very young children, or very flipped out psychotics, they will know you immediately. You can come and say, "Hello, dear, how are you?" And the dog will growl. You can't come on because they're listening to the vibrations that the hand is reaching out and sending. And you realize that every moment you are a full statement of your being. And you're sending out vibrations that are affecting everything around you, which in turn is affecting everything that comes back. And when you meet somebody who is caught in the world of we and them, and you are him to that person, and you get caught in this mindset, you are both just intensifying one another's paranoia. God, those are wise words. Deliberate on that for a while. This is the page. This is the page that I've thought of most every day since I read this book when I was 17. It's been many, many years now, folks. But I think in my head often, hippies create police, police create hippies. Maybe hippies doesn't make as much sense as it did when this book was written in the early 70s, but laws create criminals, criminals create laws. It's that polar opposites, the dichotomy that keeps everything going in that aggressive energy. He's got paper dolls here. Look at these. You can dress these bodies up either as a hippie or as a policeman. It doesn't matter. Same thing. Hippies create police. Police create hippies. If you're in polarity, you're creating polar opposites. You can only protest effectively when you love the person whose ideas you're protesting against as much as you love yourself. Love has to spring spontaneously from within, and it is in no way amenable to any form of inner or outer force. Love and coercion can never go together. Though love cannot be forced on anyone, it can be awakened in him through love itself. Love is essentially self-communicative. Those who do not have it catch it from those who have it. True love is unconquerable and irresistible, and it goes on gathering power and spreading itself until eventually it transforms everyone whom it touches. Mayor Baba. Quoted in Be Here Now, page 28. And the fact of the matter is, as you go out on the astral plane, you see more and more. And the final thing you see in the world of form, before you go into the formless and into total unity, the world of yin and yang. And the world of yin and yang is another astral plane. And it's one of the highest planes in the world of form, but it's still duality. It's still polarization. There is God, there is man, there is good, there is evil. Yes, no, pleasure, pain, loss, gain. That's the world most everybody is living in most of the time. The only way out of that is to take the poles of every set of opposites and see the way in which they are one. And if you can get into that place where you see the interrelatedness of everything and you see the oneness in it all, then no longer are you attached to your polarized position. The whole thing about generation gaps is a hype. The spirit is the spirit. When you can center and see your whole life as a story in which chapters are unfolding, then the moment-to-moment ego involvement, am I getting enough at this moment, ceases to be a dominant theme, and you start to live in the Tao, the way. Jesus said, I am the way. It's the same way. The way is the way is the way. The way is the harmony of the universe. When one comes into the spirit, when one sees how it is, one understands that behind all the individual differences, man, woman, big, little, old, young, good, bad. Every label you can think of becomes background instead of figure. What stands out is we are here and now. That's all there is. And if that isn't beautiful, man, there's nothing. So you say, well, I can't make it beautiful now, but later, after we get home with the food, then it will be beautiful. Later never exists. What happened to life insurance? To tenure, to planning, saving, responsibilities? Nothing's happened to any of it. Surfing. Either you do it like it's a big weight on you, or you do it as part of the dance. When you understand the thought is the thought of the thoughtless, your singing and dancing is no other than the voice of the Dharma. Singing and dancing and savings accounts and job and responsibility. This dance of life. Do you do it from or do you do it from Do you surf through it all? Or do you carry it around like a load? If only you could throw it off. If only I didn't have these kids around my neck. You can't get away for the day because it's in your head. It's in your head that you're trying to get away from. And the only way to get away from it is to change your head. Simple as that. You want to change your environment? Change your head. It's all the ecstatic moment. If you know how to dig it, if not, it's a travesty. That's all. Profane. Desire. The first thing in my teacher's book, the first thing he wrote on his slate because he was silent was, desire is a trap. Desirelessness is moksha, liberation. Desire is the creator. Desire is the destroyer. Desire is the universe. And that applies to the physical plane, the astral plane, the causal plane. Heaven, hell, demons, the demons on 43rd Street as well as the demons on the astral plane, all are creations of desire. All the manifestations of the Divine Mother are creations of desire. That's why Naga, the naked ascetic, worked on getting Ramakrishna to go beyond his love for Kali. Give up even the desire to be experiencing the bliss of being at all, of being with the Divine Mother. The Buddhists say, and I'm talking about the non-dualistic Buddhists, cut out all this middle stuff. They say, don't get hung up on all these different desire trips. Just go beyond it all. Buddha's 4 noble truths are very straightforward and very simple. The first one concerns the fact that life always has in it this element of unfulfillment. Birth, old age, success, not getting what you want, getting what you don't want. Even getting what you want in this physical world is going to be suffering because you are going to lose it. It's always in time. Anything that is in time is going to pass away. Lay not up your treasures where moth and rust doth corrupt. That's the trap of time. As long as you want anything in time, it's going to pass because time passes. The second noble truth is the cause of suffering is desire or craving. If you don't try to hold, you don't suffer over the loss. If you don't worship life, you don't fear death. But if you try to hold on to life, it's very sad. You can honor life. But if you try to hold on to life, it's very sad. Did you ever see a really beautiful woman, like a top model, who is just getting to that point where her looks are changing into what could be an internal beauty? If she hadn't been so busy with her external beauty, she is caught in the beauty of time, which withers. How poignant. And yet we've all touched people who were so beautiful as beings that we never notice whether they are physically beautiful. It's like an internal beauty lives within them. Well, if you attach yourself, if you crave temporal things, beauty, possessions, achievement, anything, how poignant. Example. Somebody looks at you seductively. An ice cream cone goes by. Will it ever be the big ice cream cone in the sky? Will it ever be an eternal ice cream cone? Or is it always going to melt? You got to keep eating it, yet it melts and melts. That's its problem. You got to keep eating it because it will melt. And then it's gone. And you know that taste in your mouth when you finished and you want a glass of water, right? And then you have a glass of water, there's that bloaty feeling. Then you're ready for the next one to get rid of that one. Let's take a walk. And you take a walk, it's cold out. Let's have some hot chocolate. Yes, let's have some. On and on and on. It's called life. You see, the opposite of craving is saying, baby, this is the way it is. Yeah, okay, here and now, this is it. I accept the here and now fully, as it is, right at this moment. Lame, halt, blind, we're all dying. At this moment, your body is disintegrating before your very eyes. If you take an LSD, you may seeing it do this, but you know it's happening. It's anyway. All a downhill trip all the way. Boy, what a funny place to get attached to something that's got to go like that. The Buddha says the cause of suffering is attachment or desire. They all say the same thing. Third noble truth, give up attachment, give up desire. You end the births, you end the deaths, you end the suffering. You end the whole thing that keeps you stuck. If I'm not attached to this particular time-space locus, then I can free my awareness from my body and I can become one with it all. I can merge with the Divine Mother. Fourth noble truth is the eightfold path for getting rid of desire, which says, get your life straight. Do your work. Do everything you've got to do. Watch your speech, watch your thought, watch your calmness, get your calm center going. Live your life in such a way as to get free of attachment that just keeps sucking you in all the time. Get free of desire. Get free of desire. It's a little like a roller coaster. This is just the way it works. If you read St. John of the Cross, Dark Night of the Soul, you know how it is. You've really been working on yourself, and you're very pure, and something very high happens to you. And then your ego walks around and pats you on the shoulder and says, pretty good. How does that feel? Look how holy you're getting. And you fall again. That's one of the traps. In fact, the higher you get, the harder you fall. Each time. It's those fierce lions guarding the inner gates. All this stuff happens when you are extricating yourself from the web of desire, which is your ego, which is your cognitive framework of the universe. It's all the same thing. And this extrication, believe me, doesn't happen without an internal struggle. This is called tapas. Tapasya, straightening by fire. If a man gives way to all his desires or panders to them, there will no inner struggle in him, no friction, no fire. But if, for the sake of attaining a definite aim, he struggles with the desires that hinder him, he will then create a fire which will gradually transform his inner world into a single whole. Faith. Had ye faith, you could move mountains, said Jesus. And that is literally true. The Bible is not a metaphor. It's not a story made up to teach us how to be moral beings. It's a straight message of how it is when man lives in the Spirit, and the Spirit is right inside. The way to get into the Spirit is not a lot of hocus pocus. It's a very simple, mechanical, methodical set of steps. But they're only available to him who can hear. Let those who have ears hear. Teach not him who does not want to know. The whole game is based on faith. What you may not understand is the whole game you've been playing is also based on faith. You have had faith in the rational mind. We are living in a society which is a temple dedicated to the rational man, even though the first commandment says, I am the Lord thy God, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Even though that has been said, and even though we repeat it, we still worship the rational mind and its products. We worship our own sense data. It's only when we see the assumptions that we've already been functioning on that we can start to extricate ourselves. You've got to have heard the first message before any of the keys open anything. You don't even know there are doors until you've heard the first message. Gurdjieff, a Westerner who went on this higher trip, or at least on a large part of the trip, said, you don't seem to understand. You are in prison. If you are to get out of the prison, the first thing you must realize is you are in prison. If you think you're free, you can't escape. What calming the mind is all about, what meditation is for, is to cool you out so you remember. So you see how it all is. Try sitting around when you're full of self-pity. You sit down in front of your puja table and you take a picture of Mayor Baba, and he's smiling at you like he's the other Marx brother, and he's saying, "Let me help you." Oh, I wish you would, Mayor Baba. It's so hard. Wow, dig that self-pity. Isn't that exquisite? Full bloom, an extraordinary color. It must be a brand new brand of self-pity, a particularly fragrant variety. I just really want to smell that one, just to sit and smell it for ever so long. Such a good one. I mean, I wish I could have time to groove with you, but I've got to get on with life. I have important things to do today. All right, Baba? I'll sit with you for 1 minute. Okay, here we are. You've got 1 minute. Do your thing. 40 seconds left.